Alright, you kids get to that. I get the story. All tucked in? Here we go. Once upon a time, not long ago, when people wore the drums and lived my life, the laws were stern and justice stood, and people were behind them like they ought to good. There lived a little boy who was misled by another little boy. This is what he said. Hey, you guys, we wanna make some plans, our old folks and make the land. They did the job, money came with ease, but one couldn't stop. It's like he had a disease. He robbed another and another, and my sister and a brother. Tried to rob a man who was beneath the undercover. The cop read his dog, he started acting erratic. He said, "Keep still, boy, don't be sad." Punch him in his belly and he gave him a slap. But little did he know the little boy was strapped. The kid pulled out a gun, he said, "Why'd you hit me?" The barrel said straight for the cop's kidney. The cop got scared, the kidney starts to figure. How many years I pulled this trigger? Cold gas and ran around the block, top radios into another lady cop. He ran by a tree, there he saw his sister. Shot for the head, he shot back, but he missed her. Looked around good and from expectations, he decided he hit for the subway station, but she was coming and he went the left. He was running top speed till he was out of breath. Knocked an old man down, swore he killed him. Then he made his move to an abandoned building. Ran up the stairs up to the top floor. Opened up a door there, guess what he saw? The day the no pain shooting, no food. Hurry up, run. The dope fiend go back and spanking shotgun. He went outside when there was cops all over, and he went into a car, a stolen Nova. Raced up the block doing 83. Crashed into a train near University. Escaped alive, though the car was bad. Rat-a-tat-tat and all the cops scattered. Ran out of orders and still had static. Grabbed the freaking lady and got the automatic. Pointed at her head, he said the gun was full of lead. Told the cops, back off, the lady is dead. Deep in his heart, he knew he was wrong, so he let the lady go and he starts to run on. Slowly, the lady seemed astounded, and before long, the little boy got surrounded. He thought his gun, so went the glory, and this is the way it happened. He was on one team, and a madman's dream. The cop shot the kid, still was hitting him scream. This ain't funny, so don't you dare laugh. Just another case about the wrong path, straight and narrow, and so it gets cast. Good night. That's right. Bring the ruler presentation. Crumbs.
Hey everybody, listen, I'm going to make me some tea really quick, so please enjoy the music, some of these throwbacks while I get my tea together, and I'll be right here.
In the house, you're about to witness something you've never witnessed before. Yes, it's the original human beatbox, Dougie Fresh, and his partner, the Grand Wizard, MC Ricky D.
Wow.
We're going to show you how we do it for 85 to get live, all right? Because I got a funny feeling you're all sick of all these crap rappers biting their rhymes because of their backstabbers. But when it comes to me and my friends are fresh here, there is no competition because we are the best here. But us impressed, which we improve. And y'all will realize that we all move. So listen close so you all don't miss. And be a little something like this. Oh yeah. You know what? Lottie. Lottie, Lottie, Lottie. You know what? Yo, pick this. Lottie, Lottie. We like to party. We don't cause trouble. We don't bother nobody there. Just something that's on the mic. And when we rock up on the mic, we rock the mic. For all of y'all, keeping y'all in house. Just to see you smile and enjoy yourself. Cause it's cool when your clothes are cozy condition that we create. Cause that's our mission. So listen to what we say. Because this type of shit it happens every day. I woke up around 10 o'clock in the morning. I gave myself a stretch for more yawning. Went to the bathroom to wash up. Had some soap on my face and my hair. I wanna cut my hair off. Mirror, mirror on the wall. Who is the top choice of the ball? There was a rumble double. 5 minutes it lasted. The mirror said, "Why you conceited bastard?" Well, that's true. That's why we never have no sleep. So then I washed off the soap and brushed the gold teeth. You know I love all day because my skin gets pale. And then I got the files for my fingernails. Due to the night and for my behalf, I put the bubbles in the tub so I can have a bubble bath. Clean, dry was my body hair. I put one my brand new Gucci underwear. For all the girls I might take home, I got the Johnson's baby powder and the polo cologne. Fresh dress like a million bucks. You on the valley shoes and the fly green socks. Stepped out my house, stopped short. Oh no, I went back in. I forgot I can't go and then I did it. Down my rap, my this was my whole girl. This is a girl playing hard ticket. So I said, what's wrong? Cause she looked upset. She said, it's all because of you. I'm feeling sad. You went away and now my life is filled with rain. And I love so how much you'll never know, cause you took your away from me. Now, what was I doing? Just crying over me and she was feeling so I said, don't cry, try your eye. Here comes your mother with those 2 little guys. Her mean mother stepped up, said to me, with Sally in the face and necked her in the eye. Punched her in the belly and stepped on her boot. Slammed the child on the hard concrete. The bitch was strong, the kid was gone. Something was wrong. I said, what is going on? I tried to break it up. I said, stop it, leave her. She said, if I can have you, she can't either. She grabbed me up and said, buy my socks. So I broke the hell out like I had the chicken pox. But she gave chase. She caught up quick. She put her finger in the face of the rip. She said, why don't you give me a plan? So we can go cruising in my boat. And if you give me, that's okay. I give you all my love today. Ricky, can't you see? Somehow your words just hypnotize me. And I just love your jazzy way. No, pressure if I love this here to stay. And on, chicken on. The bitch been around before my mom's born. I said, chill up. I gave her a kiss. I said, you can't have me. I'm too young for you, miss. She says, no, you're not. Then she stops crying. I said, I'm 19. She said, stop crying. I said, I am. Go ask my mother. And with your wrinkle pussy, I can't be a number. To the tick-tock, you don't stop. To the tick-tick, you don't quit. Hit it. Don't ever forget.
Mommy, please don't leave her chest. You got something that fits me. And if you leave, then I can be. He's not tired with his hands on me.
Housing Europe, like some news. Our top story for tonight is child abuse and the effects it has on the family structure. Film at 11. Damn! Every time I turn on the news, I'm like, so I'm happy. Another time to get up, I'm confused.
Well, all the people who really go home, they don't be sick when the things that you done. What I'm saying, y'all, don't you can be awake and better. On the board, you do the rat-a-tat-tat. Who protects it? Who was safe? When they're all very neglected, we call it justice. And they don't know that we can have this type of a man. Don't end up people like me moving up in their cat. It's how we make a change in that. So there won't be no more mothers in here that count facts. I'm on the clock, slumped on my dead body. A teenage girl in the corner screams. Her mother wanted to know one thing. Why? Here's the words of a girl. She scared to love. She said it happened to me first when I was 9. He was in my room and told me I was a fine. He sat me on his feet and said that he loved me. And if he trained white, you touch that heart, you would be amazing. Mommy, I prayed that you would come home and save me. Cause he did these things, these nasty things to me, mom. These things, these nasty things. And I thought I would not from the thing. It was crazy, the young girl that Frank. When they were doing me, he looked down and said, you tell anyone your mom is used to dead. She bit for that out, so she stayed quiet. 5 years of being raped and being sorry. 1,000 months in sleep, I think she suffered. My man who said I do this because I love you. Now she's 14, can't take no more. And she knew he kept on fucking and just a year. So she got it, she saw it, she got it. She said I hate you on content, this is why I got to stop. Such a such a need. Now what can I do without you? It's such a need. Now, they got you to be daughters in their touchy fit. Knowing that our kids kill us, no one kill us. Learning don't be blind for the melody of mine. Got me fucking home, and I'm a cheat mine. Hey, young world, I know it's crazy out here. I know that you got to control it, and they get you really scared, but you have to find someone that you control. So they didn't know. When I did, you get mad. But I don't know, no matter what you have told you. Men have been up from the unknown to Oprah. Now what I'm saying is that they achieve it, so you won't be the next thing in your child sex.
Mommy, mommy, please don't leave. It's just the start of food is not fixed. And if you leave, then I can't sleep. It's just the start of food is mommy. Mommy, mommy, please don't leave. It's just the start of something that we sleep. And if you leave, then I can't sleep. It's just the start of food is mommy. Mommy, mommy, please don't leave. Man, okay, I'll be honest. Let me change into my headset so that y'all can hear me clearly without an echo if possible. Because I really don't want an echo with this stream. So make sure my sound is good. Can y'all hear me okay? I'm going to assume while I wait that you guys can, and I'm going to greet the chat. So we have Shalom, we got my brother, and Yah Moshe Ben Yahuda. We have Maurice Duck, peace to you. Tom Malone, good to see you. Haven't seen you in a while. Emmanuel Briggs, we have Celine Yeti Black, good to see you. Blessings. Zero the Infinite, Celine. And Iron Fist was first. Shalom, good to see you. Okay, this is one stream that I really wish I had planned in advance and planned with some sort of notes rather than flying from the seat of my pants. However, I was not privileged enough to do that today before coming on. It's your girl, Rainy Woman. Thank you all for all of my returning supporters and listeners. And thank you all for all of my new supporters and listeners. It's good to have you here. You could be anywhere and you could be sub to anyone, but you choose to share some time with me, and I don't take it lightly. So thank you. It has been a while since I've been live, and I honestly wish that I was not coming back live like this. Um, Not like this. Usually, if I'm gone for a while and I come back with a live, I like to do a check-in first. So we're gonna do like a little mixture, okay? Y'all check in with your girl. Let me know how you're doing. I have been extremely busy, extremely focused with taking care of my affairs and things that are really, really, really critical and crucial, pressing for me at this time. And that's why I really have not been live and have not been in live chat rooms. Recently, someone brought something to my attention about another content creator here on YouTube, and here what we would consider the black sector of YouTube. Um, Everyone, if you are familiar with with what's going on, I'm going to ask that no names are dropped in my chat room. Absolutely no names whatsoever. Okay. There is enough already being said with people's names and titles and things like that. That's not what I want to do tonight. This is not at all about shaming any one individual. It's not about trying to run anyone off. I want to address a matter, right? And I felt like after something was brought to my attention about this content creator going, having something on his jacket, um, and associated, with his life being revealed, quote unquote, exposed, if you will. I felt like I owed it to my own audience to come and just chime in a little bit. This honestly to me deserves a whole lot more than a stream or two, a couple of hours here and there. This to me really deserves some real unpacking and some real conversations. And some conversations that should be had regardless to said individuals, because it's an issue regardless to any one individual. How I feel about one is how I feel about all. Let me repeat that. How I feel about one is how I feel about all. Period. When you are in a space and platforms like YouTube, over a period of time of consistent interaction, whether it be on panels, whether it be even just coming around, certain content creators' channels, being a regular in their space, and in their chat rooms, in their comment section, and even if you're not there, just being a regular listener, you begin to develop some familiarity, and you do begin to feel like you know someone based upon their content, and even the more so based upon your interactions with them. And while you may not know, of course, be made privy to know a bunch of personal things about them, it's just like if you offline, it's just like if you have a certain group of friends or associates that you hang out with from time to time, and the same kind of people come around, you gain some familiarity, you gain some awareness about them, so you feel like you know them a bit, even if you're not privy to everything about their life, right? So the same thing here. And because of that, a lot of us, we have what I call a shared audience. We have many people that are subscribed to one channel in this space and subscribe to multiple channels in the same space. And so while this conversation and this quote unquote expose is going on, again, I felt like I owed it to my own audience to chime in and share some of my own thoughts and speak on the matter and not act as if I don't know what's going on, to not act as if, to just put my head in the sand, and to act as if I have no opinion. If you've been around my channel long enough, if anything, if you don't know nothing else about me, if you don't know nothing else about Rain and Woman, you know that I am highly opinionated. I make no qualms about it. I am unapologetically opinionated. I came to this space, I came to YouTube before a content creator, but even as a content creator, I came in as my own person and my own woman. I have my own stand and about things. I have my own values. I have my own morals. I have the things that are important to me, the things that I stand for, the things that I'm willing to die on the sword for, the things that I'm willing to die for, period. Period. I'm a one-woman army, a one-woman force when it comes to the things that I believe in. I don't look for anyone else to validate what I believe in. I don't look for anyone else to feel exactly the same way that I feel. I just come to be as fair as I can, share what I feel, share what I mean, share what I know, and make a difference, make an impact in some shape, form, or fashion. Either you can roll with it and rock with it, or you can't. So this content creator currently, and this is not the only one, there's always something coming out about content creators. And why is that? Well, the simple fact is this: content creators and even people in chat rooms, even if they don't do content, all have one thing in common with everyone else. They are human beings. They are real people. At the end of the day, we're all people. And people show you a little bit of who they are online, a little bit of who they are offline by how they present online. Even if they are just a character, even if they are just an avatar, you all know a majority of the time what you're going to see when you come on my channel, what you're going to see when you see me on panels, what you're going to see in chat rooms, when I'm there, when I type, what you're going to see, you're more than likely you're going to see my freaking avatar. Unapologetically, you're going to look at that one, you're going to look at that avatar. I show you more of me when I choose to show you more of me. And more times than not, what I choose for you to see is that freaking avatar that has so much meaning and a lot of thought went into that avatar. A lot of thought went into the avatar. But even behind the avatar, I am a real person. If you never see me, if you have never seen me, if I never show my face again, if all you ever see is the avatar, behind the avatar is a real person with a real voice, real feelings, real life, real spirit, real energy, real life experiences. This is what I bring. And this is what we experience with everyone, even online. It's what you experience even on other platforms where people are not doing video or audio, but where you're just literally just communicating through text. You're getting a piece of someone and you're getting what they want you to know about them. So this individual currently, hey Jack, no, I'm not a Russian bot. Silly. Um, this is someone whose content I have often enjoyed. Um, his perspective, he has many perspectives that I've actually been able to agree with, and that's with that's a lot of people, right? Um, and I've got to say, and I'm going to get into more of the story after I talk about, after this intro, right? After this initial commentary, I will get more into the story and what's going on. I've got to say that because of how this person, peace, Joe W., because of how this person shows up so strong on his channel, on panels, with his opinions, with his perspectives, with his voice. How come? Because this person has such a strong voice, and because of how this person, the character that he has exhibited when addressing other people for accusations against him or accusations against others, when he responded in a more quiet way about the allegations, it raised my antennas, right? And this is just me. I'm not asking anyone else to agree with me. I am sharing my perspective. So automatically, I felt like, while this person, when he did speak about the allegations, while he began, with his denying things, because of how he has displayed himself consistently for the 4+ years that I have been on YouTube and sharing this space, it hit different. The silence for me hit different, and then the denial hit different for me. And then when he did begin to open up about the story and begin to confess, to salute to you, Alonzo, good to see you, to tell a story, but in a way, talk about himself in a third party way, speaking in third party, and y'all bear with me, because I really did not want to do this. Speaking in third party, having a story that seems so far-fetched, so polar opposite of how he presents and has presented on this platform. It didn't align for me. And then admitting that he wasn't telling the whole truth. He himself saying after the 9, and then saying, okay, well, part of it is true, but this is what really would happen, but then it's not really what happened. You come to your own conclusion, do what you want to do, feel how you want to feel. After saying all of that, I just said I ain't going. I'm not going. I'm not buying the story. I'm not going for this ride. This is where I get off. Period. And I have done it. If it was anybody else, hell, I have done it for other people on this platform, and I do the same thing in my life offline. I draw some very hard lines in my sand, unapologetically. The bar around me, the standards around me for myself and for those that I associate with, hey, the bars are high. The bar is high. On all levels, the bar is high. And when it comes to values and moral compasses, reigning woman, I get on a high horse. I do. I get on a high horse because morals and values, they mean a lot to me. No matter what's going on in the world, no matter what everyone else is doing, listen, morals and values mean a lot to me. Standing for something means a lot. And I've chosen to take a stand for humanity over all things in life and of all things in this world. I have chosen to take a stand for humanity. And taking a stand for humanity means standing for what's right when it comes to anything that opposes the safety and responsibility of humanity, even and starting with myself. So if you guys hear something about Reigning Woman and it comes out that some of the things that I say that I stand for doesn't match up in my actions offline, you know what I expect? I expect someone here to be able and to be bold, courageous, strong enough to call me to the carpet. Do it for me, do it for you, and do it for humanity. Now let me give the situation that that has some people that has people at odds, and that's got things in discussion. When this content creator was a child, 11 years old, a 6-year-old was assaulted. The charge is aggravated sexual assault here in Texas. And this has been 20 plus years ago, okay? 20 plus years ago. This content creator has done some time behind it. Hey, Faye, good to see you. And man, I'm not sure if I greeted you, but hey, has done some time behind it. And he is part of the story that he's now saying is he didn't do it, but he took the fall for another 14-year-old that did it. And he was convicted for what he took the rap for when he was 12. And it was a bunch of children in the house, unsupervised, doing what kids do. Let me pause on that right here. When I was 11, I was still playing with Barbie dolls. I was still playing with dolls. I will admit though, maybe I played with dolls a little bit longer than others. I know I certainly kept up with stuffed animals probably a lot longer than others. I still have dolls. So maybe I played with dolls a little bit longer than others. I will raise my hand and confess that, okay, so definitely 11 years old, I was still playing with dolls. And many times, my brother, my stepbrothers and sisters and cousins, there have been many times that we have been left alone, being supervised by the oldest, which were still children or teenagers or preteens. And we wasn't smoking and watching porn and touching each other simply because there was no supervision. I know a lot of children that I grew up with. Can't say every home. I know I cannot speak for every home, but I can say I know quite a few families of children. That's not what we did when we were unsupervised. We were not assaulting toddlers. We were not assaulting preschoolers. Let me sip this tea. I'm disturbed and I'm offended. I'm disturbed and I'm offended as if this was not 20 years ago, as if this was yesterday. And I'm trying to do my spiel in this commentary without being in that place because the situation is not that fresh. But it's fresh for someone else. Let's be clear about that. It is fresh for someone else. So this is the story. So there were a bunch of kids, and it was girls and boys. And the person that was supposed to be in charge of supervision was not properly supervising. Instead, I suppose they were smoking weed, drinking, and watching porn. And somehow this 6-year-old, among all the children, the 6-year-old came up missing into a different room with another child, a 14-year-old, that's a teenager, and got caught. The 14-year-old got caught, and somehow they convinced the 11-year-old to take the fall for sexually assaulting this 6-year-old child, because the 11-year-old will only get a spanking, they wouldn't go to jail. This story pisses me the fuck off. Excuse me. Excuse me. But this story pisses me off. So the 11-year-old realizes later, after lying to his own parents, that he did this, convincing them that they did this, that he did this, so that he could take the fall for the 14-year-old, that out of all the kids that were left unsupervised, doing all these mischievous, partaking in this mischievous behavior, realizes that it actually means he's going to go away from his parents, go away from the family, go away from the friends, and go do some time in juvenile kids jail for the offense that what he's taking the fall for, because he wants to be down. He want to prove that he can be cool and he can be trusted with the bigger kids. The bigger kids can rely on him now. And this was in like 1998. There are rape kits available. 6-year-olds know how to talk. 6-year-olds know how to identify things. The 6-year-old was convinced to say that the person that caused them harm was this 11-year-old instead of the person that actually did it, because the 6-year-old was convinced into doing this so that someone would be responsible, and everything would just, I guess, be okay. Now I'm not buying this story worth a damn. I ain't buying this story. To me is a bunch of hogwash. It's full of shit. And I ain't buying it. I ain't going and I ain't buying it. But let's say, but the person, the content creator, did say himself though that he's not telling everything. He's not, he's not giving all, everything up. At some point in time, he may still want to cause some bodily harm to the 14-year-old that he went down for in juvenile. So he not going, so he don't want to give up that name. And he not telling it everything. And I'm calling, man. I'm just calling. I'm calling BS, man. I'm calling BS. I'm calling BS. Calling BS. I ain't going. This is where I get off. I'm not going. And somehow the parents of all of these deviant, mischievous children was okay with the 14-year-old being off the hook, so they wouldn't go to juvenile or something, and the 11-year-old could get into the system. And the 6-year-old would, and their parents would just kind of be pacified from the situation with this cover up. And the victim is not just the 6-year-old. The victim is also the 11-year-old, because the 11-year-old was coerced into taking the fall for the 14-year-old. But then if you just go back, you know, and then it's like, well, the 11-year-old didn't know that any of this was really wrong, you know, because you know, kids are just doing stuff and you don't really know that this is wrong. Yet you don't have, you know, kids don't have any sense of right and wrong when it comes to these matters. Man, who's raising y'all? Who's raising you? That does lead me though into saying this, because that does lead me into saying this. We as people have got to do better about protecting our own children. Period. We've got to be better at monitoring our own children. Period. And nevertheless, in this case, Casey over, nevertheless, 20 years ago, there was a 6-year-old victim. Now, 20 years later, where this individual will now be about 26, 27 years old, we don't know we have no way of knowing what this person's life has been like, having been victimized by a 14-year-old that's been supposedly, by a supposed 14-year-old that supposedly has been protected and by an 11-year-old, instead of everyone protecting the 6-year-old, instead of everyone protecting all the children when they were children and protecting them from themselves. We have a problem. And I have a problem. And it's a problem. And back then in the 90s, kids still look like kids. You know, kids don't really look like kids now. They don't. And I think, not only, and I know that's another one of the reasons why this bothers me the way that it bothers me. Because now we have kids that don't really look like kids. I know that I have a 9-year-old. I have a 9-year-old that looks like, man, she's already taller than me. She's not my child. She's like a niece to me. But she's already taller than I am. She's already developed, and she's already has a cycle. Already. And I'm ready to sucker punch, shoot, stab, stomp, do whatever, pepper spray, do whatever needs to be done when I am with her. I hold her, even though she's taller than me, I'm holding her hand. And I'm ready. I'm already ready to attack anyone that I think is thinking of touching her because she doesn't even look like a 9-year-old by the body. So I can only imagine. I mean, shoot, she gonna turn 14. And the way that I feel about her is the way I feel about other people's children. Period. Period. So I'm not buying this story. There's a you know, man, oh man, oh man. If I do believe in second chances, there's so much I can say about this. I do believe in second chances. I do believe in correction. But when you lie about it, it's hard to give grace when you're lying about it, when someone is lying about it. It's hard to give grace when someone is not even just lying about it, but they're also being cocky while they're lying. It's hard to give grace. Can't just, brush it under the rug. And even though, let's say I buy the story. Let's say I buy the story as it has been said, the way that I told you guys. This person is in their 30s now, still protecting the original offender. And that means the original offender has had an opportunity to offend other children. And all the other children that were there, this means that they too have had opportunities to offend other children. Which means they had opportunities to grow up and just be offensive and offend people in general. And I got a problem with that. Because what that means is that without correction, if there's been no correction, what that means is now you have, they're just menaces. And I just, listen, of all things to associate myself with, I don't want to really associate myself with menaces. Intentional, unapologetic menaces. It didn't, for me, I didn't hear in the stories where there's, whether it's lies, truths, half-truths, whatever, I didn't hear any empathy, and I didn't hear anything about the victim really being the victim. What I heard was that this person becoming a victim along with the victim. And what I heard was people even saying that, but it was just kids, doing kid things, it's just kid on kid. No, because see, it was involuntary for one party. The 6-year-old was not volunteering, but it also gives so much more insight to different things and different times when I have to agree with some things. Let me slow down. There have been times when I have disagreed with this person about things that they have said about children and sexual activity and being willing participants in all sexual acts. There have been times when I disagreed with this person about addressing other people's traumas And this person even saying that you don't really get to still be feeling some kind of way about being assaulted, about things that happened to you when you was a kid. Is this why? Now, when some people say, well, this person talks about sex a lot, and maybe he shouldn't have came, maybe he shouldn't have even been talking about sex, at all. He's a grown man. I'm not going to go that far. And the reason why I'm not going to go that far is because grown people do talk about sex. Grown people do joke about sex. Now, I don't always joke about sex. Now, I won't talk about sex. Now, I try to get out of those conversations a lot of times. Because I will be the first to be offended. I ain't even going to hold you up. I'm not even going to hold you up. I am a prude around this piece. And I'm okay with that too. Okay, I am. But to think that I'm just going to say I would have a hard time believing that it stopped there. And I have, and some of the main reasons why I have a hard time believing that it stopped there because of the lack of empathy that I'm hearing, that I've heard. I'm not even going to keep listening. I don't think I need to hear anything else. I was almost completely out of the algorithm. I was almost completely out of the algorithm. I was almost all about the algorithm. I'm good. I'm dead on it. When I tell you I'm gonna get out this algorithm, I am. I'm too good for this algorithm. This algorithm. I'm gonna say this algorithm. It does not deserve me. I am too good for this algorithm. I am. I'm better than this algorithm. The algorithm that I'm in, I am better than this. I am so much better than this. Let me put my nose in the air. Let me get on my high horse and let me get the heck out of here because I am absolutely too good for this. And I don't care what anybody else thinks about what I just said. I am. Exactly, Faith. I agree. Um Faith, I was almost out, honey. I was almost free, baby. I was almost free. I ain't even gonna lie to you. It felt good, honey, to see all much different things in my news feed. Um, there are a lot of conversations that need to be had around this. If I'm going to talk about something like this again, I want to be able to set a time and commit to it and not, end up at a comedy show or something. Cause I'm out here living my life too, y'all. I got a life. I'm out here living life and stuff. Like, go outside. Y'all don't go outside. Some of y'all need to go outside a little bit more. I promise you, you do. Just listen. Go breathe some fresh air. I don't know. Go to a concert or something. Go to a museum. Go. Here's one. Try going to a library. And don't get on YouTube or Facebook or Instagram while you're at the library. Try going to a park and sitting outside under the sun or something. And don't take a picture and post it. Don't get on Instagram. Don't do a video. How about you just be in the moment of the atmosphere? I swear that this online thing, it is, while it has its benefits, the disadvantages kind of outweigh the benefits. Because some of you people, oh, I'm going on to a whole different tangent. Let me stop. Back to the subject at hand. Listen, um, I don't care how old you are, how old you were, I take sexual offenses. And there are certain crimes, period, that I take extremely serious. I do not play them lightly. And I just don't care enough about being cool and being with the cool. I don't care enough about sitting at the cool kids table, being a part of the cool kids club. I don't care enough about cool kids validation. I don't care enough about all that to compromise morals and values. So it's some things that I just take a little bit a little bit more serious than some people. You don't have to feel the way that I feel, but I'm not going to not feel what I feel because you feel any differently. You got it? So I was not surprised by the people that does, that went windmilling for this person, coaching the person into different things. I'm not surprised at all. You know, I recognized quite some time ago that I have a different standard. Hell, I talk to Ciova on a regular. Ciova will tell you, get in the chat room and Ciova, do I have a different standard? I talk to Faith. Faith, do I have a different standard? I have a different standard. And I had this standard before I knew of any of y'all over here on YouTube. Okay? So y'all can I don't give a listen, I don't know who raised you. I don't know if you're being raised. I don't know who care about you. I don't think people care enough about you. I don't think your parents hugged you enough. I don't think they cared about you enough. I don't think they told you they loved you enough. I don't think they did it. Well, let me tell you something. Damn it, I was loved. I have been cared for, okay? I have been well kept, okay? I have been protected and provided for, okay? And I'm going to live like that. And I hope that for other people. And I want it for other people. Now, while some have strayed, and hell, even I have strayed. I have not just lived no perfect white life where you can come by, with a white rag and rub it against my life and not get no dust. I can be corrected. I can still be corrected. Even at my age, I can still be corrected. I can still grow, and I choose that. And every day I choose better and better and better and better and better. I choose more and more and more better every day. And I'm sure a great part of that has to do with my upbringing, thank God. Another great part that got to do with just what I just said. A great part that got to do with my belief in God. And hear what I just said. Not my belief in church. No, my relationship with God, the Most High, the Creator of all things. And there is a difference. And all of that was intact and in place. And I did get a lot of love. And I got a whole lot of hugs growing up. I still get a lot of hugs. Real hugs. Where like when they wrap their arms around you and you just feel that love. And I also got my butt spanked. Hey, there were times I got my butt spanked and listen, if it was for cocoa butter, you might could still see a mark of a belt. Some of y'all was not spanked enough. Some of y'all were not told no enough when I've been told no. I've been told hell no. I've been told hell to the no. I've been told hell to the NF no. I've been told no in all kind of ways no. Some of y'all have not been told no enough. So I'm telling you now, no, no, and guess what? No, and I am not going. I ain't going now. I didn't go yesterday, and I'm not going tomorrow. I've actually worked with sex offenders. And then that kind of hits different too. I ain't going. The way I feel about one is the way I feel about all. I have no respect of persons when it comes to this. I don't care. I listen. I don't care how cool you are. I don't care how much money you have. Do you know that? Listen, my morals, my values, the things that I have, the things I stand for, there is not a price tag on it. I cannot be bought away from it. And I'm gonna say this, for some people, it's like for some people, it's just the last diggling thing. You know what I'm saying? For some people, it's D-O. For some of these females, it's just D-O-E. It's just dick over everything. That's it. It's dick over everything. It's validation over everything. Listen, keep your dick, keep your validation. I don't need none of it. I don't need none of it. Keep it. For some people, maybe it's just having somebody to hang out. Listen, I'm cool as a fan. I love my company. Let me tell you something. I'm one of the coolest, flyest, funnest, sexiest. I am all of that, a bag of chips and then some. Y'all know if y'all didn't know, I am definitely aged myself by saying bag of chips. Yeah, I'm gonna say it again. I'm all that. I am all that. A bag of chips and then some. Honey, I pat myself on the back all the time. All the time. I'm all the time validated. All the time. All the time. All of the time validated. If I gotta walk around my house and talk to myself, I promise you, I'm going to have a very intelligent, very witty, very funny, very sarcastic, very knowledgeable, very inspiring, very motivated. Hell, if I want to dumb down, a very dumbed down conversation. But you know what? At the end of the day, listen, it's gonna be cool as hell. I love my own damn company. My company is fire. Some of y'all don't love yourselves enough. You don't love your own company enough. You don't. That's why you can blow with the wind over here on YouTube. You just blow with the wind. Just blow with the wind. And I'm not blowing with the wind. I'm flowing with the water. In this case, it's the spirit. I don't have, listen. I don't need a trauma bomb for none of y'all. I don't have no criminal jacket. I don't need a trauma bomb with y'all. And if I'm a trauma bomb with anybody, I got there are some criminals in my own family. And I have some family members that I handle with a long handle spoon. So who the hell do you think y'all are? this child got a long handle shovel for people that I only know persona from what they want to show from here. A long candle shovel. But again, there are some real conversations that need to be had. Our children do deserve better supervision. You cannot leave your children. Listen, we have children having children. You cannot leave your children with just anybody. And many times we have to also hold parents and guardians responsible, accountable, because they do not protect their own children. Sometimes you have parents leaving their children in the hands of someone else because they want to go out, because they want a break, because they don't feel like being bothered. And I can understand all of that. I really can. But you have to vet the people that you are leaving your children with. And you cannot trust your child with just, you can't even trust your teenagers. Listen, you cannot even trust your teenagers with other teens' parents. If you don't know their parenting skills, how you parent may not be the same. How you kept your child may not be the same. The rules that you have for your house may not be the same somewhere else. And you have got to, it's up to you to instill the strong values and this culture of values with your child for your household. That's up to you as the parent. But if you don't have any yourself, if your own morals and your own values are on a slippery slope, well then hell, your kids is up for grabs already. And you are at fault for that. And if you want to, blame religious institutions, well, we can do that too. We can. I'm not afraid at all to talk about problems with the church. Hell, the devil goes to church. Demons go to church. They do. So you got to have a discerning spirit. You got to, and if need be, if you need to lay hands on a pastor, if you need to lay hands on someone for getting too close to your child or getting too close to you, I mean, then lay them hands. But you got to protect your children. It's protection of a child begins with the family first. It begins with the parents first. If, and it's a strong if things went the way that this country creator said they went, his family failed him. And those other children's families failed them. And what they all did was they failed that 6-year-old. They even failed the 14-year-old because they protected him when he shouldn't have been protected like that. He needed correction. He needed strong correction. He didn't get it. He or she, I don't know if it's a he or she or whatever. But they also failed their current community. And then that failed society. See, it has a snowball effect. But when you only think and look at things in a very small square, you don't see all of that. So if you want to pass, okay, you want grace, can't get that when it's a bunch of lies still being told. This person did say that he leaves it up to other people, leaves it up to people to come to their own conclusion. And that's fair enough. And it's even fair enough this is also fair. Some things about a person's past is not easy to talk about. There comes a point in time when you have to share, and you should share parts of your past, even the things that's uncomfortable with other people. Namely, especially like if you're in a relationship with somebody, or you want to be in a relationship with someone, doing business with someone. Certain times come for you to talk about, your past, because your past might affect business. So you gotta bring it up. Do we have to talk about it with everybody? I'm going to go ahead and say, no, you don't. But the exception to that is when things become public already. As uncomfortable as it is, and it's up to you to tell your story. And I'm talking in general. It's up to you to tell your story. But as uncomfortable as it is, at some point you owe it to who you speak to. You owe it, in this case situation, you owe it to your audience. And if you don't, want to give them that, that's your right. That's a person's right. And everyone have a right to do with that. And I'm gonna say I'm gonna speak for myself. Because I feel the way that I feel, it doesn't mean that I also have a right to go around to other people and say, you need to leave them alone. You need to stop doing this. And you don't need to defend them. You don't need to bring me up. No, you know what? Everybody has their own journey. Everybody got their own decisions, their own choices, all of that, right? I choose how to associate and acquaint myself from that and with that. I'm not going to try to force my opinion, my perspective on anyone. I am who I am for a whole lot of different factors, but what I do hope, I hope to make an impact on someone that is listening to me and is possibly influenced by me in any kind of way, to stand on their own square, to stand 10 toes down, and to not be afraid to go against the grain. In fact, to be bold enough to go against the grain. Be bold enough to sometimes stand alone. Be bold enough, be courageous enough to say what you stand for. And just stand on it. Be bold enough to separate yourself sometimes. Because in life, in reality, life will call for you to make a choice. And the choice will be, do you choose to go in line, fall in line with everybody else? Because it's the cool thing to do. It's the popular thing to do. Or will you choose to go a different path because you know it's best? And if it's not best for any other reason, it is best for you. And on that, I'm going to play another song. I'm going to repeat. The last song that I played. I'm going to be out. Thank you all for joining me tonight. I hope this message hits someone good. Hey, protect your children. Love your children. The children are the future. I'm gonna play 2 songs with that being said. And they deserve it. And if you don't know how to protect your children, if you don't know how to protect your child, maybe you need to ask, how do you protect yourself? Peace.
Please don't leave, cause Cassie got something up against me. And if you leave, then I can see he's not tired with his hands on me.
Howling Norton lifestyle news. Our top story for tonight is child abuse and the effects it has on the family structure. Film at 11. Damn! Every time I turn on the news, I'm like somehow another child is in a jeep. What all the people doing it for? They don't be sick when the things are being done. You know what I'm saying, y'all? Don't choose to be a rape and better. All the quarters you can do the rat attack. Who protects them? Who was sick? When they're all family neglected, it's all the chance. And they don't know that we can have this type of man. Don't let our people like they pull their numbers in their cat. It's how we make a change in that. So there won't be no more mothers in here that shout back. I'm on the clock, smoke, no holiday. A teenage girl in the corner screen. I mother want to know one thing. Why? Here's the words of a girl too scared to lie. She said it happened to me first when I was 9. He first came home and told me I was a fine. He sat me on his feet and said that he loved me. And he trained white. He touched that dog she quickly and Mason. Mommy, I prayed that you would come home and save me. Cause he did these things, these nasty things to me, mom. These things, these nasty things. And I told her I would die from the pain. It was crazy, the young girl that Frank. When they were putting it down, they said, you tell anyone your mom is used to dead. She said, for that out, so she said, quiet. 5 years of being raped and being silent. 1,803 days she suffered. Mama man said I do this because I love you. Now she's 14, can't take no more. And she knew he kept on fucking in pleasant look. So she caught it, she told him, she caught it. She said I hate you on the that's why I got to stop you. Such me. Now work out now, you're going to be touchy feet. Going around, kids kill, come on, kill it. Trying to go be blind for the belly of your mouth. God, you fucking know. And I'm a teach box. Young girl, I know it's crazy out here. I know that you go to school and they get you to say what you have to find the one that you control. So they didn't know. When I did, you be mad. And I don't know what you have to do. You're missing from the unknown to over. Now what I'm saying is let's take a chicken day so you won't be the mess in your child's face.
future. Teach them well and let them be complete. Show them all the beauty they possess inside. Giving us sense of pride to make it easier. Let them choose laughter. Remind us how we used to be. Everybody searching for a hero. People need someone to look up to. I never found anyone who filled my needs. A lonely place to be. And so I learned to depend on me. I decided long ago never to walk in anyone's shadow. If I fail, if I succeed, at least I made it right. I do what they take from me. They can't take away my dignity because of greatness. It's happening to me. I found the greatest love inside of me. The greatest love. It's easy to see. I believe the children are the future. Teach them well and let them lead the way. Show them all the beauty that's inside. Give them a sense of pride to make it easier. Let the children laugh. Remind us how they used to be. I decided long ago never to walk in anyone's shadows. If I fail, if I succeed, at least I made it right. No matter what they take from me, they can't take away my dignity. Because of greatness. It's happening to me. I found the greatest love inside of me. The greatest love. To bring to you. Lead you to the Lord.